Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. And to celebrate this special occasion, we're playing Boss Monster. No, April Fools, we're going to play Marvel United instead. Boss Monster is not as fun with one person. Anyway, welcome to our April Fool's Holiday Playthrough Spectacular, where our theme of the day is just chicanery, tomfoolery, and frivolity. My three favorite things, not necessarily in that order. What we have here is a setup for the ages because we have, let me just show you our three heroes here. We have Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, and Gwenpool, the Poole family, and they're facing off against the king of chicanery himself, Arcade, who is very tricky, and he loves just making lives miserable for the heroes. So that's what we have going on. But to top things off, we also have a special guest star here, this little yellow fella. Here we have Jeffrey the Land Shark. We're using the pet companion rules today. And this is going to be interesting because this is my first time ever using one of the pet companions. So I hope I don't screw it up. Here's how it works for those who have never used it. So he has just 3 cards. There's Jeffrey. He has 3 cards that get shuffled into Gwenpool's deck. He's her pet companion. And once during my turn, I may move my companion to a location adjacent to me for free. They're not considered heroes for game effect, and they can't take any damage. However, if there's a companion in my location, I am not alone. And if I'm removed from the game, my companion is also removed. So we'll see what kind of Jeffrey cards come up. I'm going in totally blind on the companions. I have no idea what's going to happen. I do, however, have an idea what's going to happen with Arcade. And what's going to happen is he's going to annoy the hell out of us, everybody. So this is how Arcade works. He is a tricky SOB. As you can see, there are threat cards on the board, but there are only 4, and they're upside down. What's up with that? Well, his threat cards are sneaky because when a hero enters a location with a face-down threat, then they can turn it face up. And then it just says what happens if multiple heroes enter at the same time, which probably won't happen here. A face-down threat cannot be cleared in any way. But when a hero is KO'd, Arcade doesn't activate his MAM. Instead, he places 1 crisis token on his dashboard. And if Arcade has 4 crisis tokens on his dashboard, the heroes lose. So what does his BAM do? It says each hero takes 1 damage for each crisis token they have. Then they discard all their crisis tokens. And, this is the really annoying part, his BAM turns all threat cards in play face down, discarding any action tokens on them. Spoiler warning, every single card in his deck has a BAM. So let's say, for example, I'm here and I'm trying to clear this threat, but I've only gotten 2 out of 3 symbols. If he goes, he's going to BAM, he's going to turn it face down and undo all of my hard work, which means in order to clear Arcade's threats, you have to clear them before he moves again. Otherwise, he's going to shuffle his threats around. Consider Arcade, when you're fighting him, consider it like you're on a big casino roulette wheel, and every turn, Arcade spins the roulette wheel and undoes all of your work and just refreshes all the bad stuff. Terrible. And if there's any overflow, then 1 hero takes 2 crisis tokens and the heroes choose, and that's terrible. So that's the deal with Arcade. We have made our lives slightly easier / slightly harder because there's a special setup rule on the back that says we can choose Murder World to be our starting location, and if we do, Arcade's health is decreased by 2. So instead of having 9 health, he only has 7 right now. But that's not going to really make a difference unless we can clear the threats promptly. So we'll see what happens. With that being said, I think it's time to begin. So let's kick this April Fools into high gear. If DC United was already in my hands, there'd be some Joker action going on the table. But hey, this is just as good. So here we go. Joker's overrated anyway. All right, Arcade. Yeah, I said it. Here we go, Arcade. What are you doing to kick things off? Okay, he's moving 2, and he's BAMing. So, 1, 2. Each hero takes 1 damage for each crisis token, then they discard all their crisis tokens. Okay, nobody has crisis tokens. All threat cards in play are turned face down. They already are face down. All right, now, defensive protocols. Until the start of the next villain turn, Arcade can't be damaged if there are any thugs or civilians in his location. That's fine. We're not damaging him yet. Then he's placing a bunch of civilians. Okay. So for a first turn, Arcade isn't too bad, except he's already going to be causing overflow, which means somebody's taking crisis tokens because he wants to put 2 here, but he can't. So somebody has to take 2. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, well, Deadpool, you are a glutton for punishment, sir. You're kind of a masochist, so I'm going to give Deadpool those 2 crisis tokens. They're his. Here you go, Deadpool. All right. Speaking of Deadpool, it's his turn now. Now, this is the kind of game where a lot of people are going to get hurt, especially because Murder World says you must discard a card from your hand at the bottom of your deck if you end your turn there. Nobody wants to stay in Murder World. It's bad, bad, bad stuff in Murder World. Just to make things obviously easy for myself, I'm going to play Regenerative Healing Factor. So it'll let me move, and as long as it's face up in the storyline, if I have less than 3 cards in hand at the end of a villain turn, I may heal and draw a card. So that's what's going to happen. Deadpool is going to go to Central Park. Actually, no, he's going to go here because that place is overflowing. Is he going to go there? Yeah, why not? And let's flip this over. Entangling Trap. When this threat is revealed, the entering hero can no longer use moves this turn and takes 1 crisis token. Okay. So Deadpool has 3 crisis tokens, which means when Arcade bams, he's going to knock out Deadpool. That sucks. All right, Lady Deadpool, it's your turn. What do we go? Yeah. So, Lady Deadpool has all this going on. She also has a Regenerative Healing Factor, which is nice. But if I play that, I'm kind of wasting my turn. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to play Rescuing Charles. Rescuing Charles. Because here's what it'll do. I can move to any location with civilians, and if I do, I rescue 1 civilian and defeat all thugs there. So that's perfect. So she has 2 moves. So she's going to move right here to get out of Murder World. She's going to rescue 1 civilian and defeat all thugs there. Groovy. And she still has 1 movement left. So that lets her put a movement down here. All right. Now, if we do not clear this before Arcade moves, that was a waste of a turn. So let's see what happens. All right, Gwenpool, your turn. Okay, what she got? So this one is not going to help us because this one removes henchmen. So that'll be a good one to discard if we ever get hurt. But I suppose we will play. Let's play this move and punch. We're not going to be able to use the punch, but we can get out of Murder World. We can play the second move to get rid of this. Hey! And what does Jeffrey let me do? Jeffrey, I can move Jeffrey to a location adjacent to them. So I'm going to move Jeffrey to Central Park. Oops. Making a mess here. And now this is interesting. So I'm going to end my turn there, and because I did, I can move to any other location. So let's say Gwenpool moves to Stark Labs. Let's move her there. So because she does, this is going to flip. Now there's nothing really bad about this flipping. Maybe we'll see. Okay. When this is revealed, the entering hero must discard 1 action token. If they have none, they take a crisis token. Okay, so that was kind of bad. So now we know that's a bad choice. We should not use the helicarriers thing to move to spots with traps because it's just going to mess us up. Because now it's Arcade's turn again. And he's going to move 3. And then he's going to bam. So 1, 2, 3. Oh no, he's coming right for me. All right, bam. Each hero takes 1 damage for each crisis token they have. And then they discard all the crisis tokens. So Deadpool is taking 3 damage. He's knocked out. And because he is knocked out, Arcade puts a crisis token on his dashboard, so we're just going to put that right there. He is already now a quarter of the way to victory. Yikes. Okay, Gwenpool is also going to take a damage, so let's get rid of that gutter space card, because that's not going to do us any good. And we will put that at the bottom and discard her crisis token. All right, now his other part of the bam is he's flipping that face down. And defensive protocols. So it's the same card as before. We can't damage him if there are thugs or civilians in his location. Big whoop. And now he's putting thugs down. Oh boy, and he's overflowing again. Great. Arcade sure is manageable. All right, there we go. So he wants to put a second one there, but he can't. So somebody's got to take 2. Well, let's give the 2 to Lady Deadpool. Because we still have her healing factor card that we can play. Because I can't give it to Deadpool because he's considered knocked out, but now it's his turn. So I can stand him back up. And I can draw back up to 4 cards without dropping them. So Gwenpool gave us a move and a punch. What else can we get? Okay, let's do this. Resistance to everything. Any special effects on the next master plan card played have no effect on Deadpool. That's nice. So now we have a move, a punch, and a star. So he's going to go here. As soon as he goes there, this flips. When this threat is revealed, the entering hero takes 2 crisis tokens. Ugh. Okay. So I'm going to move, a punch, and a star. Well, it would be nice to get rid of that. So let's use the star to rescue this guy. And let's use the punch to put a punch there. Now, I don't know if Lady Deadpool's... No, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Because I really want to play Lady Deadpool's healing factor. So I'm not going to waste my time on that. I'm going to use that punch instead to punch this guy. Here we go. Because now it's Lady Deadpool's turn. And if I play her healing factor, ta-da! This will help us out next turn. So she's just going to move here. And she's going to rescue that guy. And that's that. All right. And hey, look, we're drawing our first Jeffrey card. Here we go. So Gwenpool does not have a healing factor. I thought she did, but apparently no. Okay, so if I play this, I must discard the leftmost civilian or thug in his location and to each location he enters this turn. That's not bad. That's not bad, but it's discard. So he's not helping us. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to play Maximum Awareness. Flip any 2 cards in the storyline and a punch. And I'm going to get her to move here and then just punch that thug. I know it would have been nice to clear that, but now there's nothing there. So if there is nothing other than my hero here, I can relax with my feet on the couch. So she's just going to chill on the couch and draw 2 cards. So she heals and draws 2 cards. And I guess I'll keep Jeffrey in Central Park because I don't know what else to do with him right now. Okay. Here we go, Arcade. It's your turn. 5. Bam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no! Good thing Jeffrey can't take damage. Okay. Every hero takes a damage for each crisis token they have, then they discard all their crisis tokens. So Deadpool is going to take 2 damage. Alright, so we'll get rid of these 2 cards and discard those. Alright. Lady Deadpool is going to suffer the same fate here. Let's get rid of those 2. Those are all pretty good cards, but we'll get rid of those 2. And Gwenpool has no crisis tokens. Okay, this gets turned upside down. And now, what does this thing say? Surprise, surprise! Shuffle all threat cards in play and place them back face down, starting with Arcade's location and proceeding clockwise. So I'm just going to take these here, and I'm going to shuffle them up. Starting with Arcade's location and proceeding clockwise. So we're just going to go like that. And that. And that. Ooh, so good thing we used the apartment when we could, because now we can't. Oh, and look, he's overflowing again. Twice. Hooray. So he's putting 1 thug down in Murder World. And then he's overflowing that, and he's overflowing that. So 2 heroes have to take 2 crisis tokens. So I guess we'll give them 2 to Gwenpool and 2 to Deadpool. And now that it's the end of his turn, Lady Deadpool heals and Deadpool heals. And now it's Deadpool's turn. All right, I just wanted to make sure I was doing that right. Okay. Wow, there is a lot of overflow happening and I can't get anywhere. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to play Unpredictable. Gain a wild token. On my next turn, I must play my hero card randomly. So to help me remember that, I always just kind of tap my cards. I turn them sideways to remind me that he's got to be random next turn. But he gets a wild token. So I'm going to take that wild token, and I'm going to immediately spend it to move one space. Then I'm going to spend that wild action to... Oh, wait, I have to flip this first. When this is revealed, I get 2 crisis tokens. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oy. All right. So you know what? Instead of doing what I was going to do, because that's there, I'm just going to spend that wild and that punch to clear this. There we go. It'd be nice if he could heal there, because he's going to take a lot of damage next turn, but c'est la vie. All right, Lady Deadpool, it is your turn. And you got a wild from Mr. Deadpool. Well, these cards do not exactly help me, do they? Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to play Totally Unpredictable, which is exactly what Deadpool just played. She has her own. So she's going to have to go random next turn as well. That's why I'm putting that sideways. She gets a wild token, which she is immediately going to spend to move one space. Then she's going to use that to move another space. Then she's going to use that star to rescue a civilian in Murder World. Now that she ended her turn there, she has to take a damage. So let's take this wild. I know that sounds bad, but let's take the wild. Okay. And now here is Gwenpool. Okay. Well, she's got nothing on her spot, so I think this is our best bet. We're going to play this Jeffrey card. So move, and then he has to discard the leftmost thug or civilian in his location, and in each location he enters this turn. So we're going to do that. We're going to move her here with the move, and we're going to use the star to rescue. But before we do that, let's see, this has to be flipped. Okay, so the hero takes as many crisis tokens as the number of civilians. See, I have to flip that first. So she takes 1 crisis token, which means she's going to die this next turn. Now I get to move him as well. So I'm going to move him to Murder World because he can't get hurt, which means the leftmost person in every location he was in has to be discarded. So we discard that, and we discard that. That at least lets us clear some space for all the good it's going to do us, because Arcade is about to win almost. But there we have it. Here we go. Bam. So he's going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. He's going to bam, which means Deadpool dies. And Gwenpool dies. Oh no, she doesn't die, because she has extra cards. Oh, that's so great. I was really frightened for a moment there. So Deadpool took 4 damage. Ouch. Gwenpool took 3 damage, but she still has a card in hand. So this goes here because of Deadpool's death. However, Gwenpool just has to discard down to 1 card. Let's discard this 1 punch. Let's get rid of that 1. Sorry, I have to discard down to 1. I don't have to keep... Oh, that's worse. Okay, let's keep this wild then and discard everything else. All right. He's also flipping that over. And then it says quick rebuild. Place the top card of the threat deck in the first location clockwise with no threats, starting with Arcade's location. So he adds a new threat to the giant roulette wheel, and then he's putting 2 thugs at Shield headquarters. One thug on the helicarrier, and 1 thug at Deadpool's apartment. Okay. All right. So Deadpool 3-4 is going to stand back up again. He has to play randomly. So what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to look at these. I'm just going to shuffle them a bit because that last card said I have to play randomly. And I'm just going to play this card, whatever it may happen to be. Unpredictable. Gain a wild token on your next turn. You must play your hero card randomly. Okay. So he has a wild token and a move and a wild. So, oh, sorry, hold on. I forgot to heal Lady Deadpool at the end of Arcade's turn. So, this is all right. This is all right, because I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move Deadpool here with the move. Flip that over, because I know this gives him crisis tokens for the number of civilians, but there are no civilians. And I'm going to use that wild and this wild. Do I want to flip it? Yeah, I'm going to use those two wilds to just clear this. There we go. All right, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Okay. Now it's Lady Deadpool, and she also has to go randomly, so I'm just going to shuffle these up. And boom! Merc with a mouth with a lip gloss. Rescue one civilian in your location. Okay, so this is... this feels like a no-brainer here. Even though that threat is there and it's scary. I'm going to move her one with the wild. Okay, and then I have to immediately flip that. I have to discard an action token, but since I don't have one, I take a crisis token. And then I'm going to punch this thug. And with the special ability, I'm going to rescue that civilian there. Okay. So far, it's a good turn. I don't want to jinx it. All right, Gwenpool and Jeff. What do we got, Gwenpool and Jeff? Oh, okay, yeah, this is good. This is good for me. I'm going to play this Jeff card, Razor Sharp Teeth. So that lets me punch in Jeff's location. All right, Jeff is going to punch this thug. Boom, no more thug. Then with Gwenpool, I'm going to move and punch. She's going to move and punch. And now that she's back in Deadpool's apartment and it's completely empty, she's going to relax again and put her feet up and draw 2 cards. Boom. This could still go either way. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm not confident. Look at that face. I'm not confident I can beat that face. What are you going to do to us, Arcade? 5, bam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you got now? So bam, he's flipping this back over. Well, before he does that, sorry, I should do this in the right order. First, Lady Deadpool takes 1 damage. So let's get rid of this. And then that crisis token goes back. Then he flips that over. And now quick rebuild again. So he is placing another threat card down here. And then he's just dropping thugs all over the place. He's not overflowing anything, but it's close. So 1 thug goes here. 2 thugs go here. Yeesh. And 1 thug goes there. All right. Deadpool does not heal, but Lady Deadpool does. And now it's Deadpool's turn. All right, what do we got? What do we got? You know what? I'm going to use this double wild because I feel like we need to start being creative here. Oh, I don't remember what that was. I should have kept track of what that was. Okay. To heck with it. I'm going to move there. I think it just gives me 1 crisis token. Yeah. So he takes a crisis token, but he's going to use that double wild to clear that trap. There we go. So we have cleared that. And now, Lady Deadpool, it's your turn. We're also going to get her to play a double wild. She's going to go 1 to move here, and then the other 3 wilds to just beat up 3 thugs, which also fills this card. All right. Okay, now he's getting mad at us. But now we can hurt him. 1. Bam. So there's nothing to flip, but he is rebuilding. So he's putting a new threat there. And then he's putting civilians down. And of course, he's overflowing. Okay. So, sorry, the BAM said Deadpool has to take a damage. So let's get rid of this Chaos Challenge card, because that's not really going to do us any good right now. Oh, he's overflowing twice. Okay. So 2 characters are going to take 2 crisis tokens. Let's give them to Gwenpool and to Deadpool, just to be safe. Because Lady Deadpool can heal, but she's only got 2 cards, and I can't keep her afloat no matter how I try here. Can't get her to heal. Not right now. So, all right, Gwenpool. You've got a couple wilds. That's nice. But what can we do? Jeffrey has not been much help, I'm not going to lie. That actually wouldn't be bad, but then that would hurt her. Let's just go with this 1 wild. And we will move her 1 space. We have to flip this. Oh god, and she takes 3 crisis tokens. Now Assassin's Drone Trap, because it says, when it's revealed, the entering hero takes as many crisis tokens as the number of thugs in this location. So she's dead. Next turn, there's no getting around that. Okay. But she's going to punch Arcade twice with the other 2 wilds. Boom, boom. All right, now the question is, how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? Okay. All right, Deadpool. What have you got for us? Oh, he should have healed at the end of Arcade's turn. I'm sorry, because he took 1 damage. So he has this now. Oh, it'd be really nice if I could get him to where Arcade was. Okay. I am going to have to do this. Yeah, let's do this. Fight through the pain. Gain a punch token. I may ignore 1 damage until the beginning of my next turn. So, I'm going to gain a punch token. There we go. Then I'm going to use the wild. Well, first I'm going to use this punch here to punch this guy. Then I will use the wild to move to Stark Labs. And I'm going to end my turn there by swapping 1 card from my hand with 1 of the cards from the storyline. So let's swap this Break the Fourth Wall card. That's not going to help me too much. And swap it with this double wild, baby. Okay. And he's ignoring a damage until his next turn, which is good because he's about to take damage. All right. Arcade 4. Bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each hero takes 1 damage. So he'd be taking 2, but because he's ignoring, he's only going to take 1 damage. So let's take that. Let's get that wild out of there. Only taking the 1 damage. And then he's discarding those. Gwenpool is taking 5 damage. So she is very dead. And that means he gets another crisis token. And he's 3/4 of the way to winning. Surprise, surprise, shuffle all the threats in play and place them back face down, starting with Arcade's location and proceeding clockwise. So, there we go. We take 3 threats. Surprise, surprise, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Here we go. Place your bets, place your bets. I'm shuffling. I don't even know what's what anymore. And it's going to go like this. See? Giant roulette wheel. All right. And then last but not least, he's putting civilians to there. Whoops. Couldn't have done that if I tried. 1 there. And he wants to put 1 there, but he can't. So somebody has to take 2 crisis tokens. Let's make it Lady Deadpool. Because she's about to heal now. Right? Because she had 2 cards, and it was the end of his turn. So yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right. If we can just avoid being knocked out now, I think we'll be safe. So she's going to draw a card. Beginning of her turn now. Ooh, okay, this is good for us. This is good for us. Well, I have to play Master Assassin. 3 punches against a single target in my location. Okay? So that gives her 1 punch, a second punch, and then 3 more. 5 punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom! She did it. She's just like, nope. And she samurai sword him in the face. Yes, I just used samurai sword as a verb. I don't even care because we got him. We got Arcade. He is not an easy villain to face. He's very, very tricky. I remember losing to him a lot, especially in the early days of playing United. But thankfully, those healing factor cards really saved our butts. Look at how close we came. If it wasn't for that healing factor, we definitely would have been dead a few times over. He would have won. That's a nasty villainous plot. Having to get only 4 knockouts to win. Psh, that's insane. But we did it, guys. Lady Deadpool comes through at the end with that kill shot, and we got rid of Arcade. I thought the joke was going to be on us. I thought this April Fool's Day Arcade was going to have the last laugh. But no, it turns out Lady Deadpool, the merc with the mouth with lip gloss, she got the last laugh with that lip glossed mouth of hers. Thank you, Lady Deadpool, and thank you all for watching this April Fool's Day Marvel United playthrough here on Digital Charcuterie. I'm so happy you were able to join us for this. It feels like we just had the St. Patrick's Day one, but there it is. And next month is May. May is Mother's Day. So what's going to happen on Mother's Day? Oh, come back in a month and find out. So I'll see you all here next time as we continue to make the wait for DC Superheroes United a little bit shorter and a whole lot sweeter. See you next time.